Canyon Country is the most heavily populated area of the Santa Clarita Valley today, and Saugus is a bedroom community. But there wasn't anything like that 100 years ago. I'm Leon Warden, and this is Legacy, Santa Clarita's Living History, brought to you by the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society, the SCV School and Business Alliance, and Valencia Bank and Trust. Today we're coming to you from the Newhall home of somebody who was related to really all of the very few people who lived in Canyon Country going on 100 years ago. Minnie, thank you for having us in your home.
Leon, I understand you want to talk to me.
I do, Minnie. Can I call you Minnie?
Sure, you may.
Good. Now, there's something I'm dying to know.
Okay.
What's your favorite rock group?
Oh, that is no-brainer. NSYNC.
NSYNC, huh?
Especially Lance Bass. If he's going up into space, though, if he gets his $20 million.
Yeah, that's something
If I
else.
had a little million, I'd send it to him.
What do you think about Eminem?
I think Eminem is stupid. But he must have something. He makes more money than a school teacher does.
Yeah. You were a school teacher.
I was a school teacher for 32 years.
What'd you teach?
First grade.
Really?
For LA Unified.
Now, you've been around a little while.
Quite a little while.
What kind of music do you like best? You know, over the years.
What kind of music do I like best? Swing.
Swing?
Uh-huh. The good old times when they really played music. I danced miles to Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller down at the Palladium during the war.
Did you?
Yep, miles and miles.
You met a husband during the war, didn't you?
We had to have World War II for me to get a husband. Yeah.
Well, tell me something. It's Minnie Helvey Murphy,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
So you're born a Helvey. Who were your parents?
Well, my mother was Edith Mitchell Hyatt Helvey. So she's the Mitchell. My father was this Robert Helvey, and his mother was named Mock. I think he's German or something like that. But I am very proud to be Thomas Findley Mitchell's great-granddaughter.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to
Very
ask you,
proud.
because I've always been really confused
Oh, I'll straighten you out.
about I expect you can, about Mitchells, Murphys, Hyatts, Helveys, and how it all fits together. Now, these are really kind of like the big names of Canyon Country Saugus, because there weren't a whole lot of other people living around
No,
there
there weren't.
100 years ago.
Well, the Mitchell is the big name.
Right.
Now, Murphy is very interesting because Minnie Mitchell was Thomas Findlay Mitchell's daughter. She married Walter Murphy.
Right.
By Jove, he always talked like that. He said he was a French-Canadian, but he was as Irish as Paddy's pig.
I'm going to pretend to try to get this straight in my mind as you tell me.
You will get it. You will get it straight. Anyhow, she married Walter Murphy. Like about 50 years later, I was named after my Aunt Minnie Mitchell. About 50 years after she married her Murphy, I married my Murphy. So we're both Minnie Murphys, but our Murphys didn't know each other at all.
Oh, gosh.
It was just coincidental.
That makes it complicated.
And then Helvey, it just happened to be my mother's name, and my father's name, I mean, and he married my mother. That's how she fits into the picture. That's how he became a Mitchell.
Now, you showed me your birth certificate, so
Yes, I
you
did.
have proof that you were born.
I am born.
In 1918, and it says that you were born in Lang.
And it lied. Because I was born in
Okay.
Bouquet Canyon.
Now, Lang, though, was just over the hill, kind of.
Now there is a road that goes from where I was born over the hill to Lang. But there wasn't any road then, so my dad...
It's off of Shadow Pines there.
Yeah,
up to
over
14
there,
now,
exactly. My dad had to come from where he was working in the bark spine via horseback over the hill to see me when I was born.
So Lang actually then is where your dad worked,
That's
more
where
or
he
less.
worked, more or
Right.
less, exactly.
And he was working in the borax
He
mines.
was working in the borax mine.
Now, those were in operation up through the mid-20s. Do you remember anything about the borax mines?
Only thing I remember about it was that I was always, forever, running up the tracks in front of that little train. And Mother was afraid she'd have to go get me so the little train didn't run over me. No, I don't remember anything about that. That was because then Daddy moved to Bouquet Canyon to work on Scarcella's orchard when I was
What kind of
about
orchard was
5.
that?
It was a fruit, what kind of fruit? Peach, I think.
Peaches?
And Mama raised turkeys. And we lived there until my father found out that Jimmy Scarcella's brother was a bootlegger. So he quit.
Okay.
And this will go on for another 2 hours if I don't shut up.
No, that's fine. I don't mind. This is the juicy stuff that we want to hear.
Oh, no, you're not going to hear
Those are the good stories. Oh. All right, well, then let's go back to the basics. You were born in Bouquet Canyon.
Yes, I was.
Were you born actually in the house?
In that little house right there.
Okay,
And that
yeah,
is
you showed a picture of it
that's
here.
an exciting story. I had my granddaughter look it up on the computer to verify my weak little brain here. Daddy came out from Missouri in 1916,
Right.
and by building this house, digging a well, planting a garden, and living there for 5 years, the government gave him 160 acres. That was
Right.
the Homestead Act.
Yeah.
Now, it seems to me like that's an awful lot of land. That's half of Bouquet Canyon. But that's what the computer says is right with the Homestead Act.
Well, yeah, all those homesteads were 160 acres.
Oh,
That's
were
how
they?
That's how
And
they
it is
parceled them
right.
out. Yeah.
So that's how
you get
Daddy
a
got
patent
that
on the
property.
land by establishing something there.
Yeah, we got it. That's how we got that.
Now you lived in Bouquet. What are some of your earliest memories?
Oh, Lord, you asked so much, we'll be here forever. I remember, well, I do, and this bothers me. I want to get this out of the way. There was Newhall School, Saugus School, Sulphur Springs School, Hamby School. There was New Era School, and of all the schools we have now on every block, there is not one named New Era. That was the little red schoolhouse up in Bouquet Canyon. My dad built it, and he built like a little gazebo for us to have our lunch in, all, with screened in and everything. I remember that, and then I lived on Scarcella's ranch. And God, I was only 6 years old, and I walked across a meadow with a big bad bull, but he didn't bother me, and I didn't bother him. And I met my cousin, Forestine Domingo Sirocco, at her home, at Little Bays Up, and then we walked on to school to New Era. And there were, I think, maybe 20 people in the whole school, all 6 grades. We didn't have any kindergarten. We didn't mess with kindergarten.
Right. Well, I've heard of this New Era school, but only in a couple of vague references.
There was a New Era school.
When was it? When would your dad have built it?
He built it about 1924.
Okay. So it would have been
Because-
about the time the borax mine shut down.
And he went to work for Scarcella.
Right. Now, why did he build a school? What was the circumstance?
Why did he build a school? So we could go to school and get an
Okay.
education.
So how many kids were living
About
in the
20.
area?
There were kids in all the hills. They'd come out of the woods, kind of.
Come out of the woods.
Yeah. But we had about 20, and I still remember my first grade teacher. She was Miss McMurtry, and it was wonderful. It was the way people lived then, And we could go out. We could walk up the road, and we see all the difference. We knew the names of all the wallflowers, all the wildflowers.
Wildflowers.
The wallflowers are my granddaughter's
Wallflowers
favorite
you
fruit.
do too. Oh, okay.
And we could do those things that the kids can't do now. And then my Aunt Florence Mitchell came over there to teach. She was Florence Manning, from a very sophisticated teacher from San Francisco. She married my Uncle Frank, my mother's uncle, my second uncle. They called him Pancho. And she taught up there for a while. And then finally, she went over to Sulphur Springs to teach. And she finally dumped Uncle Frank because he was lazy. This shouldn't be a put down.
Well, I'm glad. No, I'm glad. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned Florence, because we've had a couple of guests on the show before who have mentioned that she was their teacher.
Florence
at
Manning
Sulphur
Mitchell.
Springs.
Of all the teachers I've had, all through school, UCLA, CSUN, and everything else I've done, she taught me more than any other teacher has.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, she was the only teacher in that 1st through 8th grade school at
That's
Sulphur
hard
Springs,
for you
wasn't
kids
she?
to understand. Yes, that was Sulphur Springs. It was such a wonderful time. Richard Mitchell and I were in the 8th grade, and there was one more person, 3 of us in the 8th grade, Eugene Grokenberger. But Richard and I kind of ran the school because we were so smart. We knew everything. But she was such a wonderful teacher. She taught us the basics, and she had 20 kids, I think was probably the most, through all 8 grades. And she taught us. And she had discipline, because if you did not mind, she threw an eraser at you from across the room, and you listened.
We had somebody telling us that her discipline was a little bit more than just throwing in an eraser.
Yes, her discipline. And we had a little library. You went up a couple steps, and it was a little library about as big as a broom closet. If they weren't just right, she'd take some of those big boys in there and let them have it. She had a big old paddle. But of course, Richard and I never got into that kind of trouble.
No, of course not. Not you.
We
That's
were
what our
perfect.
previous guest said too.
We
Oh,
were
never
perfect.
them.
We
No.
were
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
And one time, well, it's really fun. This is going to go on forever, you know.
That's fine.
What is really interesting, one time we used to go out and play round base. And one time, Hoot Gibson and Sally Eilis came up there to make a movie. And they made love under the oak tree all afternoon. Well, they just kissed, is all. And we played round base, and we got paid for that. We got paid $5, and we got lunch. And oh, that was a big thing.
So to be extras in this
to
film?
be extras in the film, because we were playing round base. And then Richard and I graduated in 1931. Some people think that's a long time ago, but it doesn't seem like a long time ago to me.
Well, you know, now you went to the New Era School first. Then.
First, yeah.
Okay.
Then Daddy got mad.
What happened to the New Era School?
I don't know. That happened after I was in high school or something. They probably just tore it down.
Okay, so I'm sorry. He got mad, and what?
He got mad because his boss's brother was a bootlegger, and that was the time of Prohibition. So we moved to El Segundo, and he hated it, working for Standard Oil. He didn't like it down there at all. So we came back, and we went and worked for Remy Nato. Now there's another name.
Okay.
Remy Nato had a cattle ranch, and I can remember my dad getting up every morning and cooking great big vats of lima beans for the cattle. And then one summer, Remy went back to Utah and came back with some kind of deer. I forget what kind. A good kind of deer. Gonna raise deer. It didn't work out. So my father got mad at him too. My father got mad a lot. Then right in the smack dab in the middle of the Depression, we took off in our Model T and went up to Fresno someplace to pick something. I still don't know what we picked, but my brother and my mother and father and I picked something. And when we came back, we moved into Wesley Mitchell's house. Now, he was one of Thomas Findley's sons.
Okay.
And because the rent was free. And we lived on the Lemoyne hog ranch. I don't think Daddy was working then at all. But then I went to Sulphur Springs to school. And we lived there for a while till Daddy went to work for the Los Angeles County.
County doing what?
He drove one of these great big cat skinners. Do you know that expression? I don't know if they call them that anymore. He made roads. He made
Scraper.
He made all the roads going up to Mount Wilson. So that was a good job.
Now, it would have been, well, we're in the ballpark here of the St. Francis Dam disaster. You would have been about 10 years old.
I was 10 years old.
March 12, 1928.
Yep.
St. Francis Dam breaks, and water rushes down from Saugus to the sea, and 450 people die.
Yep.
What are your memories of that?
Oh, we were over in the other canyon, but it was just like any great thing. Shouldn't compare it to the Twin Towers, but it was one of those horrible things that happened. And I knew these Reeses because we'd been to their wedding just a couple of weeks before, And it was a devastating thing. None of us, it was hard on all of us to live with, but it happened. It's like everything else in this world. They happen. You have to live with it.
Did you know people who died?
Not really, just the Reeses. And we knew them because everybody knew everybody then.
Now that really is, of course, they're the big family in San Francisco Canyon before the dam break. Who was it who was getting married? Tell me about the wedding.
It was one of the young Reeses. I don't know which one, but it went on. They got married. Of course, it was a Catholic wedding, and it was, they got married, and then they partied all night long. And we got tired. We were little kids. Mm-hmm. It's like when they used to have dances, there was a clubhouse there just before you come to White's Canyon Road up in Canyon Country. Okay. There was a big clubhouse, and our parents used to dance there. They'd take us along when we were little kids, and they had places where they could put us to sleep. Mm-hmm. They put us to sleep. Go to sleep, kid. And then they danced all night long. Hmm. That's the way we did things in those days.
Now, you moved, when you came back, you moved to Sand Canyon.
Yeah. And
who were some of the people you remember there?
Well, of course, Richard. Then later on, after we lived in Sand Canyon, and I graduated from the 8th grade, and then the bus picked us up, and we were bused into San Fernando, to San Fernando
right.
High. Then we moved later on to Hamby. And I had two friends, Rose Mezzio, who lived way back against the hill, and Mary, who still lives here, Mary Aregi, Mary Percival Aregi. Mm-hmm. She still lives here over on Chestnut, I think. And we lived so far apart, I really don't know how we got together.
No, there goes the telephone. Let's take a quick break while you get that.
Hey folks, welcome to the set of SCV in the Movies.
The show where we connect movies to our very own Santa Clarita Valley.
Now we cover movies anywhere from films with Hoot Gibson and William S. Hart
to even some of Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff.
So be sure to join us here on SCV in the Movies on Channel 20 for Time Warner Cable and Channel 99 for AT&T customers.
And you can always find us at scvinthemovies.com.
Hope to see you all soon here at SCV in the Movies.
All right, where were we? I think we were coming back from, you moved back to Sand Canyon.
Yes, we did. And Daddy worked on Des Moines Hog Ranch. Mm-hmm. And then sooner or later he went to work for the county, and that was fine because then we were rich, we had money. But what I wanted to tell you was about little Richard Mitchell. We were playing baseball. I played center field on the baseball team up there, and my brother was at bat. My brother didn't hold on to the bat very well. Richard was catching, and he let go of the bat and knocked all Richard's front teeth out. Until the day he died, Richard had false teeth in the front or something like that. I don't know, yeah. That was, but I don't know, everything was different. Everybody was one great big family then. Mm-hmm. And then when we started high school.
Well, there weren't a whole lot of people there, so everybody was related to everybody else.
Yeah, they were.
There's nobody else to marry.
That's why they had to have a war, so I got a husband. No, it was nice. And then when we started high school, we took the big yellow bus. We were the first bus kids, and they'd pick us up there at 6:30 in the morning, take us to San Fernando.
San Fernando High.
San Fernando High, yeah.
How'd you get there? Which way would you have gone?
Well, there certainly weren't any freeways then. No. We went up, is that CR High? Well, the one that goes past the cemetery up there. That road.
Soledad?
Soledad, and then up on the way, right by Vealsboro, that Fremont Pass. Yeah. Past that, yeah. That's how we went.
Speaking of the cemetery, of course, is over there kind of near Lost Canyon, between Lost Canyon and Sand Canyon.
Our cemetery.
Yeah, the Mitchell Family Cemetery. Or should we call it the Helvey Family Cemetery or the Hyatt Family Cemetery?
Yeah.
But you have relatives, ancestors in there?
I've got a map in there with the names of everybody that's in there. Yes, the Mitchells, some of the Dyers are in there, and there's an Indian baby in there because my great-grandfather liked the Indian man, and when he had a baby and died, my baby sister's up there.
You mentioned Indian family, and I know there were Indian families living in the area, in the canyons. Do you remember?
I remember Joseph Youngblood. Now, there was an interesting man. He lived up there in Soledad Canyon, not too far from where my Aunt Minnie lived, in that beautiful old house that we all loved and that they tore down. But Joseph and Orville, no, not Orville, Orville was somebody else, his son, I forget what his name was. They lived up there, and they were Indian. Mm-hmm. Nicest people in the world. I don't know whatever happened to them. We've lost track, of course.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned structures, and over at Heritage Junction, the Historical Society has that rebuilt Mitchell family cabin home that was used for a school.
Oh, yeah, the one that Pammy worked on.
Yeah, the one that
Oh,
Pam
I
Helvey
spent
was
so many
involved
afternoons
in.
there. Uncle Frank lived there for a while, and I
Okay.
remember going in there, and he was always smoking something. I don't know what it was. I don't think it was pot, but anyhow, it was something. And I would lie on his bed down at the
Native
corner.
tobacco or something.
Probably. And I just loved it. He'd have a big fire going, you know. I loved
Inside that little
inside that little house. It was so
adobe
warm.
home.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
adobe home. And then Aunt Minnie had the great big, what then was a lovely great big home.
Well, I was going to say, by the time you were born, they'd already built or were building.
They had that, yeah.
that big
they had that
house.
home there, yeah.
Right. You graduated San Fernando High in 1935.
Yes, I did.
Then what'd you do? You went to school
Then I went to UCLA for 4 years.
and studied.
And
What?
I was majored in Latin
Okay.
and minored in French. And that was right smack dab in the middle of the Depression. So I had to work my way through. I mean, I had scholarships all over the place, but they offered the entrance into the college, but they didn't give you any board and room. And in those days, nobody had $50 a month for board and room.
Right.
So I worked for a family, worked my way through.
Oh, so while you were at UCLA, you stayed with a family that was
And
near the school.
I took, absolutely, down
Okay.
in Westwood, I took care of their kids and did their house cleaning and studied too.
Well, you know, I'm just thinking to hear a, you know, young lady from the backcountry, basically. You must have been a pretty high achiever
Oh,
to
wow.
get into UCLA and everything at the time.
I was smart.
You did pretty well at UCLA, though, too, or didn't you?
No, when I got to UCLA, I was valedictorian, of course, but when...
Valedictorian, of course. Of course you were
Of
valedictorian.
course I was.
Yeah. It's all that good homeschooling, right? At the new era school.
It's all that good homeschooling.
Yeah, okay.
No, when I got to UCLA, working like I did, I got some C's.
Uh-oh.
But what I love to tell the kids' teachers and everybody else who listen, when I went to UCLA, the tuition was $24.50 a semester for 16 units. That really dates me.
24 what? Dollars?
Dollars, yeah, dollars. I have no idea what it is now. I know
A little
Katie
more.
had to pay like $120 or something over here to go to College of the Canyons. And books cost a fortune. Gosh, no, that's what I did.
When were you a school teacher then?
Well, then after that, I went to Sawyer School of Business. Oh, I'm loaded with education.
How many degrees do you have?
Two,
What are they?
BA and MA. I have a master's degree in teaching reading. But anyhow, so then
Were you a taskmaster like Florence was?
no, I loved them. We have fun together. But then I came up here and we live with my dad over on Walnut Street. We're running out of time. And that's too bad.
You're welcome to go on for hours.
I guess
It's
I
your
could.
house.
I probably could.
You can throw me out whenever you want.
Well, I live with my dad, and I work for the Bank of America uptown. It's I don't know. It's right next to the Newhall hardware store, across the street from the Wayside Cafe or whatever it is up there. I was the
Waystation.
only woman allowed.
Wayside's of jail.
Yes, exactly.
Way station, you mean?
That's right. So I worked there for a while, and then I decided to go down and work for the Bank of America in Burbank. I lived with a friend. But after I got this guy out of the Navy, then I retired for a few years and had babies, and then I went to work after I had my family raised.
This guy you got out of the Navy, what was his name?
This guy I got out of the Navy, blind date, met him at a bar. His name is Matthew Bernard Murphy.
Okay.
Black hair, black-eyed Irishman. He was cute. Well, there he is over there. He was a Ben Affleck.
Now, was he from here? Or where
Oh,
was he
no,
from?
no, he's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And we went out, I met him on the 4th of May. We got married on the 16th of June. No point in messing around. And you meet them, you get them before they get away. And he wanted to go back to Pennsylvania to live. That's where I should be living. And I told him, You marry me, you live in California, little boy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how'd that happen then?
I told him.
Okay, so you brought the Murphys here.
I brought the Murphys here. Yeah, we lived here. He worked for Western Gulf for a while till he got sick, and he was sick for like about 15 years with a little bit of everything, and I had to support the family.
What were you doing to do that?
That's when I started teaching school.
Okay. Where did you teach? Where was that?
LA Unified, and almost all of it is at Pacoima. Do you have any idea where Pacoima is?
I've heard of Pacoima.
That's where I taught.
When?
I started teaching in 1960 when Murph was in the hospital. The first payment was due on this house. It was $98. I didn't have $98.
Here in this house that we're in right now.
The one we're sitting in that needs all the repair done to it. I need $98 I had to come up with, and what happened, they sent me to a school, but the school was over-teachered. And I was low man on the totem pole, so of course I had to go. And they happened to send me over to Pacoima.
Now, you know, before I forget, you were mentioning school reminded me, where exactly in Bouquet Canyon was this new era school?
Okay, now I can't, it's hard for me to tell you because I haven't been up there for so long. Is there still boys camp?
Yeah, the Camp Scudder or whatever it is.
Yeah, that one.
Camp,
It's just
right.
a little ways before that.
Before meaning south.
Yes, meaning
Okay.
south. And
Like around the curve there?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
But
Remember which side of the road it was on as you're going up?
yeah, it's on the right
On
as
the
you go
right-hand
up.
side as you're going up?
Yeah. But they never mention it, and it was
No,
there.
I know.
And we did go to school there.
What school district would it have been? Would it have been in the Saugus? school
Saugus,
district? Okay.
yeah. I know there was a Saugus. We knew there was a Sulphur Springs and a Hornby. I went to Hornby, too.
Now, Hornby was a separate school district.
Hornby was a separate school.
You know, I have a hard time explaining to people where Hornby was. So why don't you explain to me where Hornby was?
Hornby was just before you get to Canyon Country, just before you know, there's here's White's Canyon Road. And there's a little curve, isn't there, before you get to White Canyon Road?
Well, there's the bridge before
The
you
bridge.
get to
I'm
White's
thinking of the
Canyon.
bridge. Just
you
before
get to
the
Camp
bridge.
Plenty, and then you get to White's
Yeah,
Canyon.
just
So
before the bridge. That was Hornby. That was called Hornby. And those houses there were Hornby, because I lived in Hornby when I was a teenager.
Well, like around that Langside Drive, I think it is?
Yeah, exactly.
Around here.
That was all Hornby.
Kind of like across the street from Home Depot, more or less.
Yeah, exactly. That was all Hornby.
Now, there was a school back there that was an elementary school, right?
That was Hornby.
When did you go there?
I went there in about 1929. I remember because it was right when Dewey was pushing progressive education, and the teacher, Anna Mae Strong, sent my girlfriends and me up on the hill to study. Well, what I learned on that hill was all about life. I didn't learn a thing that was in the book. Yeah, that was Hornby.
That's why you ended up valedictorian.
Probably. I ended up at valedictorian because nobody would take me on, and I had nothing else to do but study. No, that was Hornby there.
Who do you remember from Newhall area early? You talked about earlier about the Doty's.
Yeah, very much.
Remember Doty's garage?
Jess
car
Doty.
dealership?
Jess Doty was a dear friend of my dad's. Daddy would always say when he had Jess fix our car, and we always had Fords, you know. Got our first Model T from Jess Doty. Whenever Jess worked on the car, Daddy knew it was done right, but he could always tell Jess had been working on it because he left grease all over it. He and his wife, Margie, she lived to be over 100. Really? Their son and his wife, Maxine, are my dearest friends. We go to church every Saturday night. Jean and Maxine. We go to church every Saturday night, then we go out to dinner. They have been my friends for over 70 years. And when my husband died, they were there. When my daughter died, they were there. They've always been there for me.
Now, you were telling me earlier, I think, that at Doty's garage, he had some women who worked for him?
It's in that book, wherever the book is.
Oh, okay.
I didn't...
Jerry Reynolds' history book.
That one, yeah. Yeah, and I think Art Perkins I knew Art Perkins very well. I remember lots of times eating what was it, gingerbread that his wife was making in their nice warm kitchen. They were fun people. He was wild and crazy, but he was fun and smart. And his oldest son asked me to marry him.
Oh, yeah?
But I said, no way. And then I read in there about...
He wasn't Black Irish then, huh?
He wasn't Black Irish. I wanted a Black Irishman. No, it was nice. And I read in that book, too, something about Sergeant or somebody, Pember. Mm-hmm. And now his son went to school with us, too. He was one of our little group, Gene Pember. Right. And then Harold Gibson, his folks owned a chicken farm over in Happy Valley, like. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to call anything anymore because everything's different. They still want to call this place Valencia, and I'll never call it Valencia. It's Newhall. It's always going to be Newhall.
Yeah, Wayman Street, I haven't even heard anybody who wants to call this Valencia, but okay.
Oh, really? Good. Good.
No, not this side of the road. Well, Minnie, you stuck around here all your life, basically, since 1918. There must be some attraction about this place.
Oh, it's home. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Everything is attractive about this place. I wouldn't leave here for anything in the world, even with all the activity that's going on now.
All the growth and everything.
All the growth and everything.
Everybody else who wants to live here, too.
Everybody else wants to live here. They finally discovered us, yeah. No, it's wonderful.
Well, I want to thank you for letting us invade your home like this today.
Oh, it was very nice. I appreciate you being interested in our past.
Well, thank you. We are, and our viewers are, and if our viewers want more information about Santa Clarita Valley history...
Just ask me.
Just ask Minnie, or go to scvhistory.com on the internet, or stop by the Saugus train station in downtown Newhall weekends 1 to 4. Okay. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Legacy, Santa Clarita's Living History. I'm Leon Warden. Good night.